Hello students, welcome to Life Sciences with Jyotishri. So in this module we will be discussing about the pathophysiology of diphtheria. So in a series of modules we will be discussing about several bacterial diseases such as this diphtheria. So diphtheria is an acute infectious disease that typically strikes the upper respiratory tract including the throat. And it is caused by the bacteria Corynebacterium diphtheriae. So Corynebacterium diphtheria is a gram-positive bacillus and it secretes a potent exotoxin, major determinant of this pathogenicity. And it is characterized by sore throat, mild fever at first. As the disease progresses, a membranous substance forms in the throat that makes it difficult to breathe and swallow. And most probably it is observed below 15 years of age, and both the sexes are equally affected, and mostly it is affected during winter and autumn seasons. Next, coming to the mode of transmission, so it is a droplet infection, and person to person transmission occurs through oral and respiratory droplets and close physical contact. And as well as we have discussed that due to pharyngeal secretions of patients is also possible. Next, coming to pathogenicity of this particular disease, Corynebacterium diphtheria causes diphtheria. Usually the bacteria multiply on or near the surface of the mucous membrane of throat where they cause inflammation. The inflammation may spread into the voice box and may make your throat swell, narrowing your air cavity. Disease-causing strains of Corynebacterium diphtheria releases a damaging substance, that is a toxin, which can also involve the heart, brain and nervous system. And once the infected remains infected with till virulent bacilli are present in the lesions, and usually it lasts for 2 to 4 weeks. So diphtheria is rapidly developing acute febrile illness, and as I said earlier, it also involves both local and systemic pathology, that is involves the throat and as well as heart, brain and nervous system. And coming to the clinical features of diphtheria, its incubation is 2 to 5 days, and the onset of the fever, malaise, sore throat, headache and weakness. And as well as it also affects the skin, heart damage, nerve and renal tissues are affected, as we have discussed in the previous slide. So coming to the skin, that is the cutaneous diphtheria, it is found in the people with poor hygiene, and any break in the skin can become infected with diphtheria. So next is the nasal diphtheria. So it causes breathing problems. Diphtheria causing bacteria may produce a toxin, and this toxin damages tissue in the immediate area of your infection, usually the nose and the throat. And at the site of the infection, a proteus, a tough gray colored membrane, is composed of dead cells, bacteria and other substances. Okay. Next is the tonsillar diphtheria, where we can see sore throat, cervical lymph node enlargement. And coming to the laryngeal diphtheria, hoarseness of throat, voice and inspiratory stridor dyspnea. Okay, so and we can also discuss about the heart damage. The diphtheria toxin may spread through bloodstream and it damage other tissues in your body, such as your heart, what I have explained in the previous slide. And it may be slight slowing up and minor abnormalities on ECG or severe leading to sudden death. So somewhat it can be easily diagnosed through ECG also. And coming to the nervous damage, the toxin may also cause nervous damage. Typical targets are the nervous to the throat, where poor nerve construction may cause difficulty in swallowing. So these are the different clinical features, and also an extensive enlargement of anterior cervical and submanual lymph nodes are observed, which indicates like which appears like a bull's neck. Okay. Next, so these are the signs and symptoms of diphtheria: a sore throat and hoarseness on the voice, and painful swallowing, and swollen glands, that is your enlarged lymph nodes in your neck, and a thick gray membrane covering your throat and tonsils, difficulty in breathing, and nasal discharge, and fever and chills, and blood-stained nasal discharge, and lymphadenopathy. So, as we have discussed, it may also affect the other parts of the body, which include your your heart damage, nerval damage, and your skin. Next, coming to the diagnosis part of diphtheria, clinical features with detection of pseudomembrane, Albert staining of swab from your larynx, and culture will take for 8 to 10 hours and to be tested for positive. And before once the culture is given for laboratory analysis, we should not wait for the test report, but we have to start the treatment. And next, coming to the prevention steps, isolation of the patients till 2 cultures from the nose and throat are negative, and care of contacts kept under observation for at least 7 days, and active immunization, and replace with TD and TT. Sorry, replace with TT and TD. Next, 6 test. So a test, this is a test for previously acquired immunity to diphtheria using an intradermal injection of diphtheria toxin. So this is an intradermal test, and it injection of 0.2 ml of test toxin intradermally into the skin of forearm, while into the opposite arm control is injected. So coming to the negative test, no erythema on any arm indicates that the toxin has been neutralized by the antitoxin and the person is immunized to diphtheria, which indicates negative reaction. And coming to the positive test indicates susceptibility to diphtheria and requires immunization. So in this test arm, a circumcised red flush of 10 to 50 mm diameter appears within 24 to 36 hours of reaching maximum development by 4th to 7th day. And the red color flush is slowly fades into a brown patch, and the skin changes to discolor. Control arm shows no change. The person is susceptible to diphtheria, which indicates the positive reaction. Next, coming to the pseudo-positive test, where there is only a red colored inflammation within 6 to 24 hours is observed, and this reaction is same on both arms and indicates immunity. And fades by, and the red color inflammation is faded by the 4th day, and the allergic reaction found in the certain individuals, and this indicates the test is pseudo positive. And combined reactions, which shows control arm shows positive pseudo positive reaction, and test arm shows positive reaction, and this person is susceptible to diphtheria. So you can see in this picture the red color inflammation on the elbow, near the elbow. So this is how the coloration, the color is being changing from 1 day to 7 days, 1 day to 7 days. Next, diphtheria vaccine. For immunization of infants, diphtheria vaccine is important, DPT vaccine, which also used for pertussis component enhances diphtheria toxide. And adsorption carried out in a mineral carrier like aluminum phosphate or hydroxide. So this vaccine can be stored in refrigerator but should not be frozen, and it should be stored at 2 to 8 degrees Celsius. Thank you.